Okay, so OnePlus has revealed their brand new OnePlus 7 Pro smartphone. I've actually been invited to their launch event, which was really awesome, so thanks OnePlus, had a great time. And also shout out to everyone that I met at the event. It was a really nice event and time meeting everyone, so yeah, thanks for coming and thanks for the invite. But this is the OnePlus 7 Pro. And this is by far not just their most advanced smartphone ever made by OnePlus, but also one of the highest end flagships that you can buy right now. Check out our first video on the OnePlus 7 Pro here, my close to 1 week experience, but in this one I really wanted to test out the camera and see how good it really is because, you know, one of the weakest points of OnePlus phones has always been the camera. And instead of doing that extremely in-depth camera comparison between two smartphones that we normally do, this video is actually going to feature not 2, not 3, but actually 4 smartphones. This is the OnePlus 7 Pro, this is the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, this is the iPhone XS Max, and this is the Google Pixel 3 XL. And the thing is, I'm not even going to tell you which phone is which. So I want this video to be as unbiased as possible, so there's 4 letters A, B, C, and D, and 24 different categories and even more photos. So take a notebook and a pen or open up your Notes app on your smartphone, and on Saturdays, 2 days from now, I'll reveal which phone was which on Instagram as enough text. So make sure you're following there for the unveil and some really cool content, extra content as well. So yeah, for now, grab some snacks and your notebook or your phone and enjoy. Okay, so first off, we have this regular shot of this very reflective building here, and in this one, I personally don't like A at all. It's just way too warm. B is gorgeous though. It nailed down the exposure perfectly. C is very good as well. The building is a bit bright, and D is not bad either, but it is a bit too contrasty. So here I would actually go with B. That's my personal choice, but please write down your own. Now in the second shot, this is the one that perfectly showcases the colors and HDR the best. And here A is very sharp, as in overly sharpened in post, which I just don't like this. It's also the most vibrant one and the most unrealistic out of all of them. B is very good when it comes to the colors, but if you zoom in on the bushes on the left, it's not very sharp. It's quite soft instead. So C is very good, and same goes for D, but D crushes the shadows on the left hand side quite a bit. So yeah, C is my choice here. Next up, we have another gorgeous HDR shot with a ton of shadows and highlights and vibrant green trees. So this is another one of those shots that's really difficult for the cameras of smartphones to capture. And here A looks stunning, but again, it's way too vibrant and unrealistic. B and C are a bit too washed out, especially B, but D looks incredible. Shadows are spot on, the colors are not too vibrant, but D did blow out the highlights on that white rail on the left. And now here's another great HDR shot, and in this one, B looks quite poor. It's very dull, and the trees on the right are out of focus entirely. So yeah, personally, I don't like B at all. D is way too contrasty. A and C just look stunning. A is a bit too vibrant, especially the greens in the trees, so here I would go with C. Moving on to this close-up macro shot, and all 4 managed to perfectly focus on the bolt in the middle very nicely, but D and B, especially B, have some very blurry textures when it comes to the ground. A is good, but C has the best sharpness for both the ground as well as the bolt, but do write down again on your list which one is your personal preference. Now here we have a shot taken with a telephoto lens on all of these phones. The Pixel's the only one without a zoom lens, so one of these images is enhanced digitally, so curious to see if you can spot which one is the Pixel. And here when it comes to colors, I just love the way A looks. The most realistic colors do go to C, D is the worst I would say, and B is the one that has the clearest image. Next up we have the panorama shots, and here A is just way too distorted. Look at that. You do get more in the shot, but it's pretty much unusable. B on the other hand is very good, so colors are spot on. The resolution of B and C is almost identical, by the way, at 32 megapixels, while A has 19.5 megapixels and D has 17. And when it comes to the stitching, it's pretty much perfect on B, C, and also D. But overall, I would actually go with B, even though C and D are quite a bit brighter. Moving on to the wide-angle test, only 2 of these phones have wide-angle cameras. C and D don't, but both of them captured a really good shot. C was a bit wider, and I do love the colors in C, by the way. B is obviously extremely wider than compared to C and D. Have a look at how it captures 3 buildings on the left in the shot versus just 2. And A is definitely the widest one, but the colors are way too vibrant. B is too soft, especially if you zoom in, while A is way too overly sharpened. So yeah, in this case, I would still go with A, to be honest. I do like A the most. Moving on to 4K video with a back-facing camera, and here A is gorgeous. Colors are just spot on, but some of the shadows get crushed towards the end of the clip on the brickwork on the right. Now, B does suffer from the exact same issue, but actually worse. So yeah, everything is just too soft also on B for my liking, so I don't really like B. C, though, this one nails down the exposure and the shadows on the brickwork perfectly. Everything is perfectly visible, so C is stunning, best one yet, but the colors are a bit too pale and they lack contrast and vibrancy. And then finally, D is quite soft again, so same as B, it does preserve the shadows quite well. Personally, I prefer C. I prefer C from all of these, but again, write down which one do you prefer. Also keep in mind that only 3 of these phones can do 4K 60. One of them, the Pixel 3, can only do 4K 30. Next up, we have slow motion. So here, C is by far the sharpest one, but the color temperature is quite a bit off. It's way too purple. D is great as well. I do like D. A is the slowest one, but also the lowest quality one, and then B is right in the middle, which I do like. I think overall, I think I would pick B. Moving on to the stabilization test. So this is done in 4K 30 on each phone, and wow, take a look at that. So B looks amazing. B looks incredible. It's so stable. The colors are perfect. A is just way too sharp. It also looks very low res, by the way. This is still 4K 30, but it looks really low res. C is very good in terms of the image quality, so I do like C, even clearer than B. But I still prefer B over all of them just because of how stable it is. But again, write down in your notes which one do you prefer. And now here's a bit of running, and same thing here, B. Wow, I mean, this thing looks as if I was walking, but you know, this was all running. B is by far the best in terms of stabilization. And now when it comes to the autofocusing speed test, they're all pretty fast, but I think A is the fastest one here, but B and D are very fast as well. C, though, this one is the slowest. Next up, we have the time-lapse test, and in this one, yes, the Pixel 3 got a recent update, so it can now do time-lapses as well. And here, A and C look incredible. So they're very, very sharp and bright. B and D are extremely soft, and between A and C, I would personally go with A. Just because of the brighter and more colorful look, so I do like A the most. Now, in terms of the portrait mode with a back-facing camera, A is way too zoomed out. So this was all from the same distance, by the way, on all the phones. Now B is good in terms of the separation, but it has the sepia tone to it. It's very warm. I don't like the colors. C is very good in terms of the separation and the colors, but it's still a bit too blue, especially my shirt. My shirt was, by the way, it was pure black. It wasn't blue. And D is just way too contrasty, and the separation on D is actually the worst. So personally, I don't like any of them. Maybe C is the one that I dislike the least, but yeah, write down which one would you actually pick. Moving on to low light. So in this first shot, it wasn't full dark yet, but it was getting dark, and all the phones took this shot without their night modes enabled. If you look at the water, B and C, especially C, they have a lot of noise. A and D look amazing. So here, I would go with D. Similar story for the second shot. So it was getting dark, and again, no night mode was used on either of these phones. And in this case, B looks very, very soft when it comes to the ground. So yeah, here I would go with either A or D. And now we have 2 shots taken with night mode enabled, and this time it was pitch black. So in this first one, A looks great. B looks even better. There is less noise in the sky than in A. C is definitely the most realistic one, and D is a bit too processed. There's too much noise in the sky. So here I would go with either B or C. And then when it comes to the last shot taken with the night mode enabled, in this one, A is just way too sharp and overly processed, especially when it comes to the trees. I don't like A at all, to be honest. B is just too soft. C is pretty good, actually, but D is just amazing. There's pretty much zero noise in the sky, and everything just looks so perfect in D. And now we have the same shot, but this time taken with the flash turned on. So here, A just falls apart entirely. B is amazing this time. Interesting enough, C is very soft, and D is very, very good, but also too contrasty. So in this one, I do prefer B. But again, don't forget to write down which one do you prefer for every single shot that I mentioned before. And now let's test out the wide angle lens on all of these phones. Well, only two of these phones have a wide angle lens, but this lens is usually very, very bad in low light. So yeah, only A and B can do wide angle shots, and A is just stunning. I mean, wow, take a look at that. It not only gets more in the shot, but B is a complete mess. It's so soft. It looks very low res, and I just don't like it at all. It's really, really bad. Like I said, C and D, they don't have a wide angle at all. D definitely looks the best out of all of those in terms of the colors and the exposure, but again, it's not wide angle. And now we have low light, but with a zoom module. So keep in mind that the Pixel 3 is the only one without a zoom module. So again, guess which one is the Pixel. A looks really good, so A looks really, really good. B is pretty good as well, just a bit more zoomed in and quite noisy when it comes to the sky. C is pretty bad, so C I would say is probably the worst. It's even noisier in the sky. But D, wow, D is very, very impressive. So I do like D the most here. Okay, moving on to low light video. This was taken in 4K 30 on all the phones, and here A is extremely noisy. I mean, just look at how noisy and how bad that is. B is a bit better. C is actually very good. I do like C, and D is also good as well, but quite a bit noisy as well. So honestly, B and C are the best ones here. Overall, C to me seems like the best one, but again, write down your favorite. Now, when it comes to the front-facing camera in daylight, A is really, really good. I do like A a lot. It's also the widest camera, which I do like. D is way too processed, and B and C they're actually similar. So color and exposure-wise, C looks best, but I prefer A because of the wider angle. Okay, so this is a front-facing camera test video in daylight with phone number A. Listen to the microphone and let me know which one sounds best and which one obviously looks best. And this is a front-facing camera video test in daylight with phone number B. So again, let me know how the microphone sounds like compared to phone A, and how's the image quality, the dynamic range. Let me know. Okay, so this is a front-facing camera test video in daylight with phone number C. So again, let me know how the microphone sounds like, highlights, shadows, dynamic range. Everything seems to be honest, really good in this one. I think C so far is my favorite. And finally, we have phone. It's really windy. We have phone number D. Same story. Let me know how the microphone is. I really like the contrast and the colors in this one, but again, it's a matter of preference. So yeah, pick whichever you think is best. Moving on to a very difficult shot. So yeah, front-facing camera in direct sunlight. So this one tests out the full HDR capabilities of all of these cameras, and here I do like B the most. A and B are almost identical, but B isn't as warm. C is a bit too cold, and D is again just way too processed for my taste. But again, write down what do you like. This is just my opinion, what I like. Now, when it comes to portrait mode, but this time with a front-facing camera, A is just the best. My hair depth selection is pretty much spot on. B is just way too soft on my skin. C messed up my hair quite badly, and my jacket, for some reason, is just blurred out. D is good, but I don't know, it looks as if I was cut from Photoshop and literally put into the scene. So yeah, A is definitely my choice here. Moving on to front low-light photos, C is way too dark, but it is quite clear, so I do like that. B is the brightest one, but I don't know, I turned out so blue, so that's pretty much disqualified instantly. The light was identical in all the shots, by the way. D is a bit too warm, so overall I would actually go with A for this one. But now if we take the exact same shot, but this time with a front-facing flash on, the story changes entirely. So A and B both immediately give away the fact that they were taken with the flash, which doesn't look great. C is pretty good, but D, wow, D is just stunning. So not only is there almost no noise in the background, but you could even tell that this was taken with the front-facing camera flash on. So D is definitely the best. Okay, so this is a front-facing camera test video in low light with phone number A. So yeah, have a look at the microphone. Let me know how it sounds. It's crazy windy, but yeah, this is phone A. Okay, so this is smartphone B in low light with a front-facing camera. Let me know how this one is, how it sounds. It's crazy windy, by the way. But yeah, I've already said that in phone A. And this is phone C in low light. Same story. How's the microphone? This one seems significantly dimmer than the other ones and quite a bit noisier, but yeah, let me know which one do you think is better. And finally, we have phone number D, the last one on the list. Same story. How's the microphone? How's the background behind me? This one seems quite noisy as well, so I think B is the best in this case, but let me know. Okay, so I hope all of you wrote down all of your choices on paper or your smartphone. If not, go back to the video, watch it again, pause the video, whatever. Just make sure you have all of them, all the images on a piece of paper written down somewhere, and then see which letter you had the most of. Which phone do you actually prefer, which letter for now? And some of you, some of you might already figured out which phone is which, but still, follow on Instagram, ZenOfTech, for the full reveal 2 days from now on Saturday, because some of you might have actually gotten it wrong, and you might be surprised when it comes to the results. And you can still follow for some cool behind the scenes content on Instagram as ZenOfTech, because why not? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this really detailed video, and if this video gets a lot of likes and cool comments, then we might do separate videos for the other phones, just comparing two phones and something even more detailed than this. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys on Saturday on Instagram for that reveal of which phone was which. and then, you know, this week for some more cool videos. Thank you for watching. I'm Daniel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Enough Tech, signing out. Cheers.